hand-me-down. Somewhere along the lines, we got outside of the dynamic of hand-me-down, and we actually got less quality. We got tricked. We thought hand-me-down was close to poverty, so we get money, so we don't do hand-me-downs. Now I get money, I don't do hand-me-downs. No, we need to all pull together instead of getting a whole bunch of $200 and $300 strollers. Get an $1,800 stroller, and that's the stroller for the family. You take care of that stroller because your sister might need that. We do that. Instead of getting these little $100 beds for the babies, no. We need to go get an $1,100 bed, and then that's the bed forever for the babies. See? Hand me down. Let that be the family heirloom, so to speak. We'll begin it as an heirloom, and then, generation, so to speak. We have to do that because we got to get around that. And so the next tour is good segue. Starting Detroit. I might do Chicago right before Detroit, but starting in Detroit, it's going to be all about cooperative economics. It's going to be all about cooperative economics because we don't have any other way to make it. And this is cooperative economics when we start to do things like that, where the family has one. You know what I mean? Or who knows your financial situation? Maybe you can buy yourself one and then buy the family another. No, that's for you guys to share. It's ours. But we have to get official. All right, and we cannot wait for these guys. That's important to know. All right, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. All right, and these 5 chemicals, I should have listed them. I always kick myself in the butt later. These 5 chemicals are still getting into the States. Because what they'll do is they'll say in the States, it's illegal for a farmer maybe to put a certain chemical in their food here. However, they won't stop the import of international farmers that use those chemicals and bring the food in anyway. So it's still a hustle. So it's really, the United States is not banning the chemicals. The chemicals are made here. So, think about Bayer a couple years back. They found out some of their aspirin was tainted with HIV, right? They didn't stop selling it. They just sold it in France and Germany. Oh, we can't sell it in the States? Okay, cool. We'll take this overseas. All right? So this is what's happening to our children right now. Right? And we all kind of like to pretend this is not happening until it happens in our house.
Okay, this is really important. Alright, sorry, this is a new video. Video 6, I think. Francisco bringing it to you. We're in Minister Inky, black men are endangered species. What is xenoestrogen? Question mark. Rigor mortis, Charlie. So this is a key lesson right here. You're gonna get a lot of key information because what we don't understand is, let me just say this. When we go into our native cultures, whatever your native culture was, you'll find that certain foods were gender specific. And today, when we dawn upon our history and the food practices, because of the system we live in today and the empowerment of the female, today we look back upon what we did as a culture, as native people, and we say that we're suppressing women, or that they weren't fair. And, they were chauvinist pigs, they were this and that. You know how it can get bloody. What I'm trying to say is that they weren't subjugating the women. They weren't saying, okay, I'm going to eat this good food, you eat the bad food. What happened was certain food are gender specific. As it shows here, I grew up in the housing. I grew up in the hood. And in the hood, all of us be chilling and we be doing whatever we do. And some of the boys, I know of a few that every day they be out there with sunflower seeds. I love pumpkin seeds, but you only eat this shit during Halloween. But they always had sunflower seeds, and what we didn't understand is that sunflower seeds give you estrogen. So it's a gender specific food. This is a female food, this is a male food. So when we look at native cultures, they had figured all of this out, what had lined with the woman, what lines with the man. And when we had the different menus where men could eat this and females could eat that, it was because of the promotion of the gender. She would be at her feminist. She would be at her strongest. She would be at her smartest when she eats these certain foods. The male is at his strongest, at his fiercest, at his wittiest when he eats these certain foods. When these people eat the certain foods and they combine and become a family, is unstoppable. That's why they throw all types of food at us and they tell us don't worry about the health aspect.
Then it's a situation, right? And everybody goes back and you have that debate whether this is something voluntary or whether this is something genetic. And the truth is, it's both. You do have some people that volunteer to make different choices, but for the most part, it's biology. We're loaded with these chemicals. These chemicals are all destroying our endocrine system ability to communicate the proper hormones, not only just for sex determination, but for growth and maintaining your health on a regular basis. All right. So and this is all review. All right. So I simplified this because this can go all the way, but this is just an example. We have to eat, and this is for me and my brother. Right. I'll put Keen on blast. You don't. You know when I'm speaking, nobody knows these people. But my brother used to load up on sunflower seeds forever. Like he just ate sunflowers, like bags and bags and bags and bags. When we got older though, I never did that. I was more like crunchy cheese doodles. I just never did this. But when we got older, he was shooting blanks forever. I didn't know why though, until later on. But he was shooting blanks forever, and I just like slap your girlfriend. Bah! Like, baby, it's divine intervention, man. Alright? Post-World War II. Now this is important. Because this is where we live at right now. Post-World War II. Well, that's common sense. No. Post-World War II is Hitler and Hitler's scientists are no longer located in Germany. They're located in America. Alright? The scientists, after the war, they got arrested. I think the longest jail sentence one of the Nazi scientists did was about 5 or 6 years. The longest. But most of them did about 2 to 4 years, got released with the agreement that they would come work for our government instead. Alright? So 90,000 chemicals post-World War II added to the food supply directly. I would say the food and chemical supply, but fertilizers, water cleaners, all those things basically added to your food supply. Alright? So what are the results? Sperm counts down 75% in the last 75 years. That's just count. Testicular cancer doubled in the last 10 years. All of this is a result of these chemicals. The average 20-year-old today has half the sperm of his dad. Half the sperm. And 85% of that sperm is abnormal or dead. See, this right here is very important because I know some organizations of Europeans that have even been trying to communicate this information, and they've been getting silenced.
No.
Silenced. Because there are whole countries on the planet right now. Whole countries on the planet where the men are technically sterile. Whole countries. A healthy man supposed to drop 500 million sperm a shot. Boom. We don't even have that science intact no more. And I ain't even talking about the recycling. I'm not even talking about getting that deep. I mean just the basics. Like your stuff doesn't refresh itself for 72 hours. I don't know no guys that wake 72 hours ago. You know what I mean? If I was a teenager, 72 minutes was long. I need like 5 or 10 minutes and something's happening. Right? But that is killing us. That's taking years off our life. Alright, so we have to learn this. 60 million sperm. I think that was back in like the 80s. All right, and this is the World Health Organization's idea of stopping global panic. All right, if you ask me, it's to take a certain number of us off of this planet, but their public excuses to stop global panic. They dropped the number from 60 million to 40 million, then dropped it from 40 to 20, then from 20 to 10. All right, then from 20 to 10. That's where we at right now. So, and this is why we're losing in numbers, because as I went through earlier in the class, and y'all would get it, DVDs and the book, etc. Abortion is 5 to 1 black babies. SIDS, which I did not know, is 5 to 1 black babies. So 9 out of 10 of our babies don't even make it. They don't even make it into the game. And then you add these numbers on, and we get crazy, right? And then we wonder why our sisters is crazy. And then our brothers want to go get white girls and Chinese girls and say, well, the sisters too crazy. No, the sisters are too crazy because they deal with this. Because out of our one, you got maybe 10 women for every 1 black man, and then they got to sift through to the cats that's in and out of jail, strung out on drugs, up he might be sick, up he don't pay for his children, up he's a deadbeat, up he don't have a job, up it becomes 1 black man for every 25 black women. That's panic. That's panic. Then, to top it off, all of our black women have had their natural aboriginal brains ripped out, and they've had Margaret Sanger's brains put in. So now it's a Europeanized, angry black woman we're dealing with. And we still don't even have that to take care of everything. Right? That makes a difference. Okay? That makes a difference. Alright? Because if the women got to take care of the women, we're not going to be here in another 10, 20 years. In case you didn't notice, this is the first generation in black American history. And this is textbook extinction. This is the first generation for black America where the adults are burying the children. Not from gun violence, not because he got hit by a truck, but because of metabolic illnesses, preventable deaths. When that starts to happen, that's extinction level event. That means that you only got another 2-3 generations before that species is gone. That's where we are. 40 and 50-year-old women look way sexier than 20-year-old women. We gotta stop that. They looking run down. 25, what happened? 40-year-old sister still, okay. Their minds is not saturated with Burger King, McDonald's, and even though they might not be eating the right way, they're still doing some basic things. Alright? You got to get there. Alright? Xenoestrogens, we talk about that. These are all of the chemicals that mimic estrogen. Alright? Estrogen is not your buddy inside your body. Estrogen is a very toxic compound that your body works very hard at keeping in check. This is why women have to produce testosterone in small amounts. Each ovary produces a small amount of testosterone because if there's too much estrogen built up around the ovaries, you won't be able to fertilize those eggs. Alright? Very important. And where are these chemicals found? In all of the lovely products that our sisters use. Now, what's also very important to understand about the male issue is this. All of these chemical compounds, these estrogens or xenoestrogens, are coupled with testosterone inhibitors. So not only do they bring estrogen into your body, but they also stop your body's ability to produce testosterone, which is a problem. And this is what grows fibroids, tumors, etc. Estrogen doesn't create them. It grows them, feeds them. Alright? So all of these lovely areas are our sources. Alright? Pollution, we really can't do much about that. Right? Cool. Beauty products, totally different question. In fact, everything else on here besides pollution is voluntary. We volunteer to purchase canned foods and volunteer to eat them. We volunteer to go buy the fish and eat it. We volunteer to drink the tap water. We volunteer to use the plastics. Actually, you know what? I'll credit plastics with pollution. We'll say pollution and plastics we really can't do much about, even though we can. Well, we'll give you benefit of the doubt. The farm animals, we volunteering for that. The beauty products, we volunteering. In fact, most of the stuff we're paying for that kills us. So we're beyond on autopilot when it comes to suicide. That's the craziest thing. Like, if we go back 400 years ago, your ancestors would have had to been tied up to chairs and trees and had them, they would have to have this stuff applied to them. They would have to have some of these meats and some of this stuff that we call food now shoved in their mouth. They would have their teeth broken out before they would allow some of this stuff to go in their body. We purchase it and consume it now. Like this. Okay. Effects of estrogen dominance. Loss of muscle tone. We see that. Right? The men have breasts. Decreased sex drive and sexual function. If you don't see that, pretend like you're not a part of this population. I know you see it when you go to the grocery store, because when I was young, there was no huge explosion of sex products. Every store now has a huge explosion from $1 to $10. You can buy all night long. Energy right here. Keep on going. Don't stop moving. When did that become? They have to fill the void. So they create the market and then give you the products to get rid of your symptoms. See, this is a symptom. So they give you the products to get rid of the symptoms so that by the time, you know, this becomes society's norm, and by the time the dance wears off, you over here. Enlarged prostate cancer. How did I get here? Because you ignored these things. You ignored the sex drive issue because all your friends was already doing the same thing, so you looked at it as normal. You ignored the loss of muscle tone because most of us aren't working to build muscle anyway. We don't work out. I don't work out, Minister Inky. It's that bodybuilding stuff. Oh, okay, excuse me, I thought you was God. Oh, I'm God, but not. Yeah, stop. Too much YouTube. You gotta get back into reality. Okay? Too much YouTube. Alright? And I know about that because I had a stroke. So I can talk in depth about strokes. I was there, I seen the tunnel. It's like, ooh. Is there a U-turn available? Most popular chemical on earth. There is not a human being. Let me say a civilized human being. Actually, there's not a human being on this planet without this floating around in this system right now. Even if you out in the jungles of Mali somewhere, them trees and bushes all got this in it. So you can't even eat out there and still avoid these things. Alright? You can't eat out there and still avoid these things. This is a xenoestrogen, one of the most popular and most powerful. Okay, well, Minister Inky, if we can't avoid the chemicals, what can we do? We're going to minimize the chemicals. Learn what the chemicals do, and then you want to put the things in place to counteract those results. So, as a man, I know, for instance, like today, I'm going to have some soy from across the street. Soy is a xenoestrogen that produces estrogen in your male body. Fine. I'm going to be loaded with my male smoothie, got my pumpkin seeds in my bag. I'm going to do all those things to counteract that, so it's not going to be a big deal. Then I'll be on the herbs and the exercise. You got to put the things in place. I don't want people to get this information and not live. Like, it's not for you to not live. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to live. Oh my God, I can't go to the club. They're smoking there. Oh my God, I can't go to the bar. They're drinking there. Oh my God, Thanksgiving's coming. What do I do? Well, you go enjoy your family. You just don't have to have any more. Alright? So, I got a lot of questions on that. You know, Alright, and I'll let y'all dig in the book for those answers. Herbs to avoid during pregnancy. Very important.
Oh, this is the one right there.
A lot of places where people
For
tell you
pregnant
herbs
women.
are good, da 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 da. This is important though. Because every single plant is not healthy for you. People need to know that. Alright, you go into the holistic thing, everybody talking about how every plant is not, this plant, earth, produces just as many poisons naturally as it does nutrients. Naturally. And that's what gets you into the game with these big companies and the new labeling. Everything says all natural, organic, this, that, and the other. And you turn around the ingredients, you see still poison in it. Because they are all natural poisons. So the company can play with you. They can put formaldehyde on there and put all natural. In fact, I could give you a bottle of formaldehyde and label it all natural and organic and not be illegal. Now you need to know what formaldehyde is. You purchasing it, put it in your body, not me. That's the way the law works. All I need to do is know what it is so I can sell it. Boop. Now you need to do your homework before you consume it. That's on the consumer's end. That's another problem we have with our bodies and our health. We're not taking responsibility. It's a finger to point. Well, damn, ain't nobody told me this. Damn, ain't nobody told me that. Dude. Library's open. You know how many of our ancestors died and bled and hung and cut off their privates and all that just so we could read? And we walk around like, damn, nobody ain't told me that. Stop that. I ain't gotta tell you nothing. All you do is tell your price. As a matter of fact, you pay, right? So we have to be careful. Alright? You have to be careful. And we talked a little bit about this. Very important. Eumelanin. Right? We know that selenium is always associated with this. In fact, that's the big difference. However, when we see the molecules, we never see selenium in the eumelanin molecule. It's always shown to us like this. When we look at the pheromelanin molecule, we always see the sulfur on deck though. Right? So that's what got me into the selenium proteins and selenium enzyme. That's how I found those things out. It's because the eumelanin actually functions with the selenium to produce brand new enzymes and proteins that currently didn't exist and is not available to people that don't have this biology. Okay? So we went through that. That's in your book. Alright? This is important to know. Alright? As black folks, especially the paradigm that we're moving in, this is it. Your skin. Alright? There's a lot of racism in the medical and scientific community to produce brand new. It's still rampant. Alright? So we have to go through the entire canon of science and begin to rewrite some things. And some things are right in front of us. Right? Because we had India Ari, she told us we're not our hair and our skin, right? I know, y'all black women believe it. That's my problem with her though. It's my problem with y'all. We pick and choose who you want to have problems with. Right? There's the same group of people that tell me Jay-Z gotta be Illuminati because he on the radio, da 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 da. You ask him about India Ari, like, well no, India Ari is conscious. Like, how? She ain't signed the same contract that Jay-Z signed? It's not the same radio station programmers that are programming Jay-Z on as her on? Okay. Which one's more damaging? You gotta figure out. This is the lyrics. Some stuff is right in front of us. Look at this. Endoderm. Come on. Somebody here know what dermis is. What's that? Mesoderm. What is that? Ectoderm. Skin. In fact, the zygote is 3 layers of skin. Right? The mesoderm, meso meaning middle, endo, inside, ecto, outside. So we're talking about 3 layers of skin. And every single cell, tissue, organ, gland comes from those 3 layers of skin. So how could we not be our hair, nails, and our skin? That's all we are. But if I'm in charge of the canon of science and writing science, I have to figure out a way to rewrite this. Because my skin's deficient. I have a problem with my skin. So we can't do this. Because if we do this, immediately science will tell us not only who is the dominant species on this planet, but who is the wealthiest. Look, in order for me to have a healthy child, that child has to be full of what? Iron, right? What else we see up there? We see some gold, some silver, right? Copper. All of these are your resources. Selenium. These are the most expensive things on the planet, right? But we're being hustled left and right out of these things. Left and right. At Verizon, I saw them do a super, oh my God, it's crazy, the cell phone business. All of these metals are in your phone. All of these metals in your phone. They got a huge hustle going on in the cell phone business. Because they're selling you basically a little laptop now. And here's the hustle. We either pay $500 for the phone, watch this, we pay $500 for the phone, or we might pay $100, $200 and sign a contract for the rest of it so that they're still pulling that money out of your contract. And if you don't think they're pulling that money out of your contract, now they got it set up where you can lease a phone and the money come out. So if it was unclear before, it's certain now. When you come back with that same phone a year, 2 years later, they'll give you a discount off the phone, $20 towards your new phone. What happened to all the value in the phone? Or they'll just set up a box. Most of the stores got a box. Dump your old phone right here. Donate your old phone. Donate is for idiots. Only black folks donate. That's just like on the back of your ID. Donate your organs. Where do we have a precedence for that? Where do we have a context for that? Which set of our ancestors donated their organs to other niggas? Where did they do that? Where is the first brown or black people on this planet that donated their organs? Matter of fact, scratch that. Where are the first brown and black people on this planet that donated their organs outside the family? Like, who does that? Who does that? Only us, because our minds are not right. Even businesses. That's how everything's supposed to run. Family first, everything else secondary. None of these other people even hires anybody until they ran out of family members. Anything I could donate on the back of my... What? Are you giving away organs? To who? And what are they going to do once they get your organ for free? You want to be a good Samaritan? All right, fine. Let's do contract law. Right on the back of yours, I will donate my organs to anyone who needs them. However, if any profit is generated off my organs, I'm going to need 95% of that to go. Because none of your organs that's donated